briefings twice weekly, focusing on themes emerging in our community related to COVID-19 or other frequently asked questions. The governor of Minnesota has extended executive orders related to the closures of recreational facilities and sites in Minnesota. We understand how important it is to maintain our immune system, not only during a pandemic, but every day. Physical health and social connectedness are vital in boosting and maintaining our immune systems. Today, we are highlighting opportunities for active living and healthy eating with our speakers. We will be joined by Betsy Johnson, co-chair of Get Fit Itasca and educator in health and nutrition from the University of Minnesota Extension, and Anna Johnson, community health coordinator for Get Fit Itasca, Heather Lovedahl, activities director for Big Fork Schools, Chad Lovedahl, basketball coach for the Big Fork Huskies, Matt Wegworth, city engineer and public works director, City of Grand Rapids, Tom Saxhog, chair of the Itasca County Trails Task Force, and Les Olala, co-chair of the Itasca County Trails Task Force, and Megan Christensen, executive director for Visit Grand Rapids. We also, during our question and answer session, we will have Jean McDonald, president and CEO of Grand Itasca Clinic and Hospital, Dr. Dan Suler, vice president of medical affairs and family medicine physician for Grand Itasca Clinic and Hospital, and Angela Clefman, chief operating officer from Big Fork Valley Hospital, available for the questions pertaining to their organization. We are joined by our local and regional media. After our speakers, please submit questions via chat. We would like you to preface your questions with your name and the media organization that you represent. Our panel will respond to the questions that pertain to their organization. Itasca County Public Health has been notified by the Minnesota Department of Health of 42 laboratory confirmed positive COVID-19 cases, which will be reflected on the Minnesota Department of Health website. We are saddened to announce 3 additional deaths related to COVID-19 this week, bringing our total to 5 deaths in Itasca County. 3 of the deceased were males in their 80s, and 1 was a male in their 90s. The details related to the 5th death are not available at this time. We in Itasca County Public Health express our condolences to the family and friends of those who have lost their lives to COVID-19. We, along with our hospitals, clinics, healthcare facilities, and community partners, are taking this pandemic very seriously and are working to prevent others from experiencing the loss of their loved ones during this COVID-19 pandemic. We will get through this together. At this time, I will introduce Betsy Johnson, co-chair of Get Fit Itasca, an educator in health and nutrition from the University of Minnesota Extension, and Anna Johnson, community health coordinator of Get Fit Itasca.
Thanks, Kelly. Well, there are things we can still do during this stay close to home and family time, and outdoor activities are prime. And as our friends in the Trails Task Force and City of Grand Rapids know quite well, trails are highly used right now, and it's a great thing. People are out and about walking and biking and boosting their immune system, as Kelly said. So there are lots of websites, there are lots of places to look for things to do, and I just want to emphasize that you can go to Facebook, and there are pages for all sorts of activities. Of course, Get Fit has a Facebook page, and many of the other organizations do, that promote active outdoor lifestyles. We're lucky that the weather is working for us right now. And I also want to promote healthy eating. You can still garden. We have a community garden in Deer River. There are youth gardens throughout many of the elementary schools. And there is guidance for safe community gardening, and we will be following those guidelines at the Deer River Community Garden. The Itasca Community Garden at the university's North Central Research and Outreach Center is not yet open, as we are following the university's guidance, which is lagging the governor's guidance on things right now. So hopefully we can still open it. But you can also go to the farmer's market and get fresh local food, which is another healthy immune boosting activity. And again, check it out on their Facebook page. You order online and then go to pick it up at a prearranged time. Another healthy eating aspect I'd like to direct you to is the university came out with a real life good food website that is easy to navigate with recipes, ideas for fresh food, and those kinds of things. So we have lots of opportunities. If you're not connected online, telephone works, and you can connect with Get Fit Itasca at 218-327-8814, and we can help, or any of the other organizations I'm sure would help via telephone. So be safe out there. Stay 6 feet apart. Wear a mask if you're going to be closer. And if you're doing activities on the trails or any outdoor activity that involves some speed, wear a helmet and wear protective gear. So thank you.
Thank you, Betsy. I will now introduce Heather Lovedahl, Activities Director for Big Fork Schools, and Chad Lovedahl, basketball coach of the Big Fork Huskies.
Good morning. Thanks for having us. Yeah, when I was asked to speak, I checked in with a lot of our head coaches, as they are really the experts in what they're working with their kids right now. And so some of the things I thought were wonderful. Our football coach, Thor Johnson, had talked about strength training at home. He gave some really great examples about, using what you have at home as far as your stairs and chair lifts and things like that. One thing that he suggested, I don't know if our athletes or students would like to do, is push mow the grass when it's that time. Just one thing up in Big Fork, a lot of us, are pretty rural. And so I worry about isolation for kids and mental health things for them. And one thing that has been really good too, most of the coaches have set up Google Classroom, where they are able to talk to their kids and just give ideas and just support them, which I think is super important. The other cool thing we have up here is our golf team fundraises during the year and is able to purchase golf memberships from Golf on the Edge up here. And they're able to go and golf, practicing social distancing and all of the requirements, but they're going to be able to golf all summer with that membership, which is huge. I don't know if you have more to add, Chad.
Yeah, I think a lot of our kids they've been to trainers, local trainers around the area, Duluth, of course, before all this. And now those things are on Facebook now. So these kids are able to do this training with these trainers, and then it's, they can record it and then they can critique it that way. So, and basically they're having to go kind of old school, you'd say, like, just be in their parking, their driveways, and do what they can do and be outside and run up and down the road. And yeah, so that's about it.
Yeah, I don't know.
Great, thank you. We will now introduce Matt Wagworth, the City Engineer and Public Works Director of the City of Grand Rapids.
Thank you, Kelly. So I just wanted to talk about some of the amenities in Grand Rapids. So all our trails and green spaces are open in the city of Grand Rapids. I recommend checking out some of the trails down by the library and our new pedestrian bridge that's over the Mississippi River as a way to get out and kind of be in nature a little bit and see the river and explore that area. With some of our parks, we are going to be adjusting some of the restrictions that were in place based on the governor's new order. So we will be modifying some of those restrictions next week to open some things up a little more and to provide more access to the things that we have in our parks. So that information will be available probably on Monday. And so we'll start to kind of open some things up a little more in our parks based on the governor's recommendations. But just to remind everybody that everything, trails and parks are open, and just use safe social distancing and just be smart when you're out there using things and out with the public. So.
Thank you, Matt. I will now introduce Tom Saxhog, Chair of the Itasca County Trails Task Force, and Les Olala, Co-Chair of the Itasca County Trails Task Force. You're muted, Tom.
There we go. Well, I'm Tom Saxhog, Chairman of Itasca County Trails Task Force. It's a volunteer organization. It was formed about 30 years ago with a grant from the Bland Foundation. It includes groups are in charge of maintaining and improving the trails of our area, which and are responsible for, as Megan will tell you, for a lot of the tourism that we get up here, as well as the amenities that draw people and the young families up here to live. Included in our group, government as well as not-for-profits are Itasca. When we meet, this is when we meet. These are meetings, and who we include: Itasca County, City of Grand Rapids, City of Cohasset, Minnesota DNR, U.S. Forest Service, all the snowmobile clubs, ATV clubs, cross-country ski clubs, downhill organizations, snowshoers, fat tire bike clubs, mountain bike clubs, horse trail organizations, and all types of biking, on the Mesaba Trail. We meet monthly. We have a planned program. We've had to skip the last 2 months, obviously, but think we'll be able to open up because our next meeting our June meeting is always at the fairgrounds. So hopefully we're gonna, even though we usually have 15 to 20, we're gonna have to work something out there, but I think it's important that we get together. Continuous funding from for improvements to the trails are essential, and they come from the Blanner Foundation, and we appreciate that. And I don't think there's anything like this trail organization in Minnesota, and that's why I think why we have one of the best trail systems in Minnesota. So it makes for a healthy tourism economy, and I think that as the previous speakers have said, if you can get out and get on trails and get your exercise, it makes a huge difference in our mental outlook and our physical ability. Thank you.
Les, did you have anything to add?
Well, yeah, there's a couple of things. It is a cooperative group, and we've formed partnerships to help each other get things done. But one thing, Itasca County is blessed with 1,100 lakes and hundreds of thousands of public acres of land, with lots of trails and lots of places to explore. And I remind people that in the spring, things are flowering, things are changing outside all the time, and there's a lot to explore and see. We've got fishing season just opened, and we've got a lot of places to go fishing. That's a great opportunity to get out with your family, get outdoors. And we've got fishing piers. You don't have to have a boat. There's places to fish from shore. Itasca County is a great place to be outdoors. Thanks.
Thank you, Les. And we will introduce Megan Christensen, Executive Director from Visit Grand Rapids.
Hello, and thank you so much for allowing me to be a part of this conversation today. Visit Grand Rapids has a website, visitgrandrapids.com, and under the Do tab has a listing of all of the wonderful things that you can do in the Grand Rapids Itasca area. Some of them have already been mentioned, are hiking and biking trails. For biking, Mesaba Trail is a flat course that runs from here to Ely, Minnesota. It is a tarred path. It is great for all levels of biking ability. Great for families with young kids. There's lots of things to see on the Mesaba Trail. A lot of great history. So you will go through hardwood forest, pine forest, bog areas, reclaimed mine areas. So there's a lot of things to see on that trail. For hiking in the area, we love to send people up to the Legion Trail. The Legion Trail is, you can access it from the parking lot of the high school and the Rife Center. And it's a great path to take kids because there is designated trails that spur off in different directions. It's a safe area to go. You can choose how far of a loop that you want to go. And like Les had said, there's lots of things that are flowering and blooming this time of year in the forest. We are blessed to have almost 1 million acres of public accessible land in Itasca County. We also have great hiking trails in Itasca County, and the Chippewa National Forest is located in Itasca County. And a couple of the trails that I like to send people is the Sumi Hills Trail and Simpson Creek. They're excellent locations. Sumi Hills, you can decide how long you want to venture out. But Simpson Creek is a nice location, a little bit farther drive, but it's still within Itasca County. And then the last thing I want to mention is that today, officially all of the ATV and OHV trails in Itasca County open. We have been told that all of them are pretty dry. Up in the Big Fork, Balsam area, there are still some soft and wet areas, and they have marked those. So that's a great opportunity for people as well. And the other thing I want to mention is paddling sports. So Paddle Hoppers in town rents kayaks, canoes, and stand-up paddle boards, and you can paddle right on the Mississippi from their location. Or you can also come and pick up the rental and take it to a favorite lake or old mine reclaimed area. So that is a great outdoor activity as well. And then Ardent Bikes, they rent bicycles and fat tire bikes and mountain bikes that you can ride out at the Tioga Recreation Area. They also have multi-level trails that are great for all ages and abilities. So I just encourage people to get out. Getting outside is really healthy for all of us. Our mental capacity just keeps us moving and active. I think all of us feel better when we do that. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Megan. We will now move on to the question and answer portion of the press briefing. Again, we ask our media to submit questions via the chat with your name and organization you represent, and we will ask our panelists to answer the questions. First question, Jennifer from ICTV. This is for Matt Wegworth. Are there plans to open the dog park at Veterans Park?
Yep. Thank you. Yes, it will be open, but we will be posting signage that we request just one kind of household user at a time. So if someone has multiple dogs, we're opening to say, yep, you can go in there. But the CDC has made recommendations that they have found it does transmit through pets, I believe, and so we're we don't want any interaction with dogs and families. So we're just it's gonna be open, but it will be restricted use to just kind of one household at a time.
Thank you. Kathy, KOZY, is wearing a mask when jogging recommended? Who would like to answer this? Or perhaps our medical professional would like to answer this.
Kelly, yeah, I can jump on for that. Dan Suler, family physician from Grand Itasca. We'll fix the sound here. So there is not a lot of science. Sorry. There's not a lot of science to answer that question. Professional guidance does recommend that you try to wear a face mask. Again, it's to protect others you may come in contact with. Obviously, we're blessed with large areas of open space in Itasca County. And so if that is not something that can be attained because it's uncomfortable, certainly, I would say use your best judgment to take that mask off and run the trails. If you're running with a group of people, I would encourage you to wear masks.
Thank you. I'm Renee from WDIO. With cabin season and tourist season upon us, is there anything that public health or other leaders want to add about anything else Itasca County residents can do to keep safe? Megan, from Visit Grand Rapids perspective, do you have thoughts on the cabin and tourist season and staying safe?
So thank you. So all of our boat landings are open in Itasca County. Campgrounds, only remote campgrounds are available. So there are remote campgrounds on the Mississippi River and in the Chippewa National Forest. Those are open. Any private campground is not open at this time, but seasonal campgrounds are. All of the resorts in Itasca County are open as well as seasonal campgrounds, hotels, motels as well. All of them are taking extra precautions at this time. They are doing curbside check-in. They have closed their breakfast areas and their restaurants. They are doing curbside delivery for any food, and they are taking extra precautions on cleaning of the cabins and rooms. There will be probably a delay on check-in times because of the extra safety and health requirements that they are doing.
Tom Sachs, you got to watch out for wood ticks still too, you know.
Thank you. That is a great public health message. Ticks are out, and we do have a higher area of tick-related illnesses. Megan did address this, but the follow-up to Renee from WDIO's question about the updates about campgrounds and boat landings, I would encourage people to continue to check back as the governor works to lift some of the executive order recommendations. And just as a follow-up with the boat landings, we did have our law enforcement and DNR here with us a week ago, and there was a recommendation to check the conditions of the boat landings as they may not be in the same shape or repair as they maybe have been during other seasons.